Broadcasting live from the secluded Star Forge at the edge of eternities, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome, everybody, to Tap Tap Concede. My name is Graham, and joining me this week, very special guest, we've got Corey Csuhta, the founder and lead engineer of Scryfall. Hey, Corey.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Obviously, today we're going to be talking about Scryfall. That's why Corey's here. But before we get into that, I want to remind everybody watching at home that this show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR for all of your cardboard needs. Currently, Spider-Man. But I've just come back from MagicCon Atlanta, where we've seen a little preview of 2026. So I assume at some point shortly they're going to be starting the pre-orders for Lorwyn Eclipsed. So check that out. Also, want to remind you that you can use the code LRRMTG5 if you're buying anything from the Dragon Shield store, and you'll get a 5% discount. And they've just announced a partnership, also at MagicCon Atlanta, with Wizards of the Coast. So they're going to be making official Magic sleeves, and they debuted their Landfall series at MagicCon Atlanta. So get yourself 5% discount there by using our code. And of course, everything we do here is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon, or by becoming a member on this YouTube channel. We can't do it without you. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, speaking of existing on the internet, yeah, I would allege that basically everybody who listens to this show uses Scryfall multiple times a week, if not multiple times a day. Because we like Magic and we play a lot of Magic. Before we get into talking about Scryfall specifically, Corey, what's your background with Magic?
Oh, geez. Okay, so I started Magic in middle school. It was all the way back in Odyssey block.
Nice.
I basically played like saving my allowance to go to the 7-Eleven back when they still had like Magic cards right next to the register. All the way up until now through high school, college, first jobs, everything. Had like a continuous collection going for almost all of it.
What sort of stuff do you tend to play? Are you like constructed? Are you a limited gremlin like me?
When I was, it's mostly been constructed Commander. When I was in college, we had time to do some standard tournaments, and that was during, I think it was Zendikar block. So nice. I had
that's around when I briefly dabbled in standard before I realized it was not for me.
There's just so much work keeping up with like especially even your local meta. But I had the white artifact deck. Where you use, I'm struggling to remember all the card names.
Oh, is this the Cobblade deck?
Yes, but also where you would quest for the relic, I believe.
Yeah, quest for the Holy Relic, I think.
Yes, so you keep flickering them, and then eventually you get Argentum armor, and they can't do anything about it.
Right.
That was one of my favorite standards. After that, it was mostly limited. Yes, that quest for the Holy Relic. So after that, it was more Commander constructed at my first jobs. We were able to get like a Magic Night started. And actually at that, that's the same kind of agency where I started working on Scryfall, kind of on like my nights and weekends.
Cool. My memory of standard during that time, because this is when I was like just starting to play, is that I didn't really understand that there was like a meta or decks that were just good. And so at home I built a deck with Terra Stomper, because I just like big green creatures. It's like it's green. It's just a big idiot with trample, if I recall what Terra Stomper does. And so I 3 green for an 8/8, can't be countered, and it has trample, and that's it. And it seems so quaint today. So it was a deck with that, or that just sort of like ramped out Terra Stompers. And then I took it to the F&M at our local LGS and sat down across from someone who had Jace the Mind Sculptor, and so just kept bouncing Terra Stomper every turn. And I'm like, well, I don't have any other play than recasting Terra Stomper, and they just kept bouncing it. And I was like, wait, I don't think I'm built for this.
The standard around us. So I went to school in Norfolk, Virginia. It was really weird. It was like basically one half of the pool were people who were like these like kids that were like deer in the headlights, and the other half were like people who are very, very good, and like some of the people who worked at the store and stuff too.
Oh yeah.
So like the amount of prizes you won really was really kind of predetermined by who you got seated with. Uh, I don't really think I've ever really done any sort of tournament place or anything. It's been mostly super casual and trying standard when I had time. But yeah, keeping up with that is a
Nice.
lot. And I think Wizards has kind of started trying to address that a bit with the longer seasons. It feels like we're
Hmm.
always transitioning to a new system for standard
Yeah.
perpetually, but right now they're trying to make it a much longer kind of like range so that people have time to adjust and people don't have to keep buying brand new stuff every 3 months.
Yeah, which is especially good when there's stuff's coming out at such a rapid pace, which I will ask you about later. But
Mhm.
first, you mentioned it already, but the sort of the beginnings of Scryfall. When around like when did you start Scryfall and why?
So I worked at a design agency in Washington D.C., and there was a big technology department for doing websites. We had a lot of people interested in playing Magic. We used magiccards.info, the old site.
Oh
Basically,
yeah,
we basically used that daily, just like Scryfall. It was
I'd
such an
forgotten about that
important.
site. We used to use that too.
Mhm. It was such an important resource for uh, just finding out what existed because stuff was already starting to come out a little bit faster than you could keep it all in your head. But we used that almost daily. It had some, deficiencies, like they really did not handle like split cards right, a bunch of other stuff. There was some missing information, but it was very fast and it was pretty accurate, especially if you're trying to search for like everything that's one cost for your deck or things like that. Around Eldritch Moon, I believe they stopped updating, and we started to
Yeah.
get worried that it was going to go away or the person had. This is before I met who owned it, but we didn't know anything about them, so we were kind of worried that like something happened or they passed away because like a lot of the community members could not communicate with them. And I will say the person who owns Magic Cards Info, they were a very private individual. So I won't say names or anything,
Hmm.
but um, they stopped updating. We came out with like early versions of Scryfall, tested it, launched it, announced it. Right in the middle of a spoiler season, which was kind of silly of us, but like stuff gets buried really fast. Like if you want to announce anything while new cards are like 5 new cards are coming out every day.
Yeah.
But they kind of approached us to sell it and have us take over because regardless of what was going to happen if we bought it from them or not, they were going to stop because
Hmm.
they just didn't have any interest in Magic anymore. And it's a forever project. Like there's always new
Yeah.
promos and cards coming out and stuff. So you have to make it a big, like even if you wanted to just update your kind of own casual collection or things that you're tracking, it's work. It's something
Yeah.
you have to do every week. Um,
And this
so I
was this
think
was at a time also just for the benefit of viewers at home who may be newer to the game, in a world who never didn't experience a world without Scryfall. For a time, the only online database really for Magic cards was Wizard's own Gatherer
mhm.
website, which still exists, but uh, they there used to be more features to Gatherer, and then they stopped. There was like community comments, which
Yeah, there
obviously
were
was a bad
comments, which
idea.
was a big thing.
Yeah, and like ratings and stuff, and then they stopped doing that. And again, like I say, probably for the best. You don't want to be like, yeah, the online comment section for Magic the Gathering is probably not something that Wizards needs to support themselves. But
Yeah.
Gatherer, I mean, to be honest, I haven't gone there recently, but certainly at the time, it had very tiny images and wasn't great and was kind of it. They had an advanced search, but it was not robust in the way that you would want, and that was sort of the only option. So I remember now you've
Mhm.
reminded me that when magiccards.info was around, it was like, oh, finally something that's actually like sort of usable. And then I do recall this period of time where they stopped
Yep.
updating, and then
They were also the thing we liked the most about it is it was just so fast. Like,
so
and
fast.
we fully kind of lifted their search syntax, like where you could just type everything into the bar without
Hmm.
using the advanced search. If you were like kind of expert level at it, like the way you could pull up information was just so quick.
Hmm.
And that's what we liked about it. And we kind of took that. We try to be fully compatible with their syntax, also because they transfer ownership of the domain to us. We're trying to handle all of that. So if you have a really old Magic Cards info link on a blog post or something, it still works. It goes to the Scryfall page now for that
That's
card.
amazing.
So we've been trying to be the best stewards we can of all of their information,
That's so cool. I love
and
that.
make sure all that stuff still works.
And you start Scryfall because you saw that Magic Cards and Info was slowing or stopping updates, and you were like, "Wait, did something needs to happen here?" Or was it like, we could also do this?
Yeah, I mean, so it was me and a few friends at the agency. I did most of the development work, but they were like instrumental in like just suggesting features, testing stuff, giving me lots of feedback for it. But we kind of were like, we could make this, but add all the rest of the cards that are missing, and also kind of modernize. It was a Magic Cards Info was a good site. It was kind of very, I don't really know how to describe it. It kind of looked like old eBay pages. It was very
It was bare
fast, but
bones.
yeah, it was very fast, but it was very bare bones. It also didn't really have mobile, like phone support.
Mm,
Uh, so like if you search for something, you'd still get like the really zoomed out web page, and then you'd have to like, pinch in and all that stuff. Remember
yeah.
when cell phones or smartphones were first coming out, and you had to pinch all over web pages all the time?
Yep.
Um, so yeah, eventually we sort of outpaced them. We didn't ever try to, I guess we were competitors, but everybody in the Magic space is just sort of doing affiliate links and sponsorships anyway. But eventually I believe they approached us in order to like for us to acquire the domain and like transfer ownership of all the information, because they thought we would be good stewards of it. And I hope we have been.
Yeah.
I remember there were some people who were really annoyed when we took over the domain at first and stuff.
Mm.
They wanted the tiny, fast website still. But the long and short of it is that if, regardless of who took it over, it was going to close down anyway.
And at the speed of it, certainly, if it continued and got to the scale that Scryfall is now, I'm sure that might have affected performance.
Yes, there's so many more. I believe we're tracking somewhere around 600,000 individual prints, probably missing maybe 10 to 15% localized cards still.
Wow.
But yeah, it gets much bigger every year, especially Wizards is on a huge tear, like way more
Hmm.
sets each year, way more promos, all the secret lair stuff, everything.
Oh yeah. How, I gotta ask this, is the name a James Bond reference? Like, where did this come from?
Yeah, it was the original logo, which I don't think anybody but us internally saw, was sort of like a little tuxedo Starscape thing. But yeah, it was sort of a James Bond reference, but also Scry. It just sort of stuck. That was what we used, and that was what everybody else started using, and it stuck.
I can
We were
I can see
also,
this as like the sort of thing where someone around the office is just like starts humming like Scryfall, and then it's just like,
yeah,
oh, that we should use that name, and then it's like, yeah, for now, and then that's the name.
yeah, that was the one that stuck. Domain was available, all that stuff. So that's what we went with. And yeah, that's that we're stuck with that no
It's
matter
good.
what
It's a
now.
good name,
Yeah.
honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
And
rolls off the tongue.
I think the original name was Aethervile because that was one of our favorite cards. But we eventually were like, maybe we shouldn't name it exactly a Magic card name.
That's probably a good
Um,
idea. Also,
Also,
that
all
one's
that
harder to
confu-
spell.
Yeah, the confusion around whether or not you use the fancy AE
Right.
or not too.
The
I'm
yeah.
firmly in the Wizards should bring back the fancy letters.
Yes, justice for
Um,
ligatures.
yes, it like it. I don't know. It makes, especially on the old cards with the kind of the old kind of the ye old card font titles on the classic
Mm,
frames, that
yeah,
AE and stuff that just made it look even more like arcane and cool to
I
me. But
agree.
I guess I can also see their point where like people can't figure out how to type it, and also, yeah, the old Aethervile AE.
Oh
So
yeah,
our
no, I
system
forgot
lets
about
you
that.
put our system lets you put in both, but that's a thing every website on Earth would have to like handle.
I fully don't know how to type that ligature on my phone or my computer now that I think about it.
I think on the iPhone it's either you hold down the A or the E, one of the two.
It makes
But
sense.
yeah, anyway, the we've done a lot of work on our search also to let you type basically just ASCII or English letters, and to have it handle all the different versions, like things with accents. So like to
Hmm.
kind of know what you are actually asking for. And that's something we're really proud of, is like we're kind of bringing, I think we brought a lot more localized card support than Magic Cards Info had, especially with like being able to search, or just like if you put like if you put like Scryfall and a Chinese card name in Google, like our stuff will come up
Yeah,
like directly to that page and stuff. So I think we're pretty proud of all of our language support,
that's
and we
great.
even have
I can't
I'm
remember the
sorry.
example, but I typed something. I was like, "Is this the name of the card?" I think it's called this, and I typed something in. I can't remember what it was, and I was wrong. But Scryfall was like, "There's a German name of a card that's kind of what you're asking about. Is this what you mean?" And I was like, "Oh, dang, that's cool." No,
Mhm.
but that's really cool.
Also, we have all of the other like kind of promotional languages. Like we have ancient Greek, like on for that one card, all that kind of stuff
Right.
too. We also have full Phyrexian support, so you can put the you can see the Phyrexian text on the web page.
What- I wouldn't know how to certainly wouldn't know how to type in Phyrexian, but that's great.
Mm-hmm. There is a I feel bad because their name is escaping me, but a one of our contributors, Nils, works with a very talented person who does the Phyrexian font and has basically translated it to sort of ASCII, so that you can enter the ASCII text, and then when you apply the font, it comes out in beautiful full Phyrexian.
That's so cool. I remember for the speaking of MagicCon, just because that's fresh to mind, the one for I don't remember where it was. I think it was Philadelphia actually, but the one around when Phyrexia came out, um, the people who sort of designed the font, some we got asked to sign some playmats that they had also signed, and they were signing their autographs in the Phyrexian script. It was very cool.
Like people like language nerds, they love what they do. Like the like J.R.R. Tolkien designing all of his languages. Everybody, there is a I think for Game of Thrones, High Valyrian is complete enough that now they have like a course for it on Duolingo.
Wow.
Of course, they don't have words for like computer, but you can learn how to say like "I honor you, my my trusted knight" in High Valyrian if you want to now. Like language nerds go incredibly like deep with their projects. I
That's
love
so
them.
cool. I guess speaking of Tolkien, I suppose Elvish and Dwarvish are also now on Magic cards.
Yes, we have the. I'm gonna mispronounce it. So we have the Elvish script.
It's like Sindarin,
I'm
or
gonna.
am I thinking of a different?
I'm.
I I
It
admit,
was explained. It was explained to me, and we put it on the site, and then I've kind of lost it. So like, there's a name for the writing system, and then there,
right.
and then like, so it's kind of like when we say Latin characters, and then we do like English, French, German. Tolkien has a writing system for Elvish script, and then you can write either Elvish or like the evil speak
Oh,
with
the
the
black
characters and
speech.
stuff. Yeah,
Right.
so it's something like that. I don't want to like explain it and butcher it. and then
I
you'll
admit
have
that that
angry
level of
Tolkien
granularity
fans.
on
Mhm.
that's a cool looking sol ring. That level of granularity on Tolkien is a you know a void in my nerd knowledge, so that's
Mhm.
fine. Hey, we're gonna see. They announced there's a Star Trek set coming out. Maybe we'll see some cards in
Oh yeah,
Klingon. That'd
maybe
be
we'll get
cool.
like a Klingon promo. That would be cool.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I would like Klingon flavor text too, maybe.
Mm. So what we're going back to Scryfall and going back, what were sort of the early years of Scryfall like after you'd sort of you'd taken on magiccards.info?
Mhm.
Was it still just you and the couple folks at this agency working on it?
So in 2016, I was fortunate enough to make enough affiliate income that I was able to go full time on it.
That's
It's
awesome.
always for now. It's always been me full time, and then I'm surrounded by a very generous community of contributors. Like people from my old agency give me like advice and stuff. They've moved on to lots of other jobs. We've all kind of left that company, but we have kind of like artists, community moderators. Can I give a shout out to a few people right
Oh,
now? So
please.
like some people who are really active right now are Scarlett, and also I believe you've met Logan Seraph
Yep.
Six. They kind of help moderate and do a lot of data entry, and then we've also got Blade, Zorak, and Quinn who are helping us like work on the site code, also get cards entered, do um, we've gotten a lot. We're trying to avoid as much as possible looking at a card on a screen and having to type the whole card out.
Mm,
So we have kind of like image recognition software that tries to transcribe the cards.
nice.
Wizards has done a pretty good job of systematizing magic to the point where you can kind of know whether or not text you're reading is real magic card oracle text or not by its phrasing and stuff. So that really helps.
Hmm.
Um,
I
those
I'm
are um, those are some of the big contributors you see, especially if you're on our Discord and things like that.
I'm blown away by the the level of granularity that the contributors are able to put onto stuff. Example, I brought home the plush loot toy from MagicCon for my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
who is familiar with Magic and has played Magic, but isn't like into Magic, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and she likes the toy, but was like, "Hey, can I see some cards with loot?" So I immediately like, sure, go to Scryfall, and as you say, because you can type all this in the bar, I just went art
Mm-hmm.
colon loot, right,
Yep.
and way more cards than I thought came up, and I was like, oh yeah, there he is. He's way back in that. Huh. I never noticed him on that card before,
Mm-hmm.
but someone did, and they tagged the card. The I think
Yep.
the art tagging is like that has to be one of uh the that has to be like the most disparate uh feature that Scryfall offers between like
Yes.
effort to make it work and people that know and use it.
Yeah. So there are. We have a lot of extra community contributors that just do art tagging. There's too
Amazing.
many to like name because anybody with a Scryfall account who has supported us at all can help with tagging. You don't need like permission from us, but yeah, people are very they're very detailed with tagging everything they see in the art, and then we kind of have it's like parent tags and stuff. So like if you tag something as a character and we know that they are LGBT, that tag is also automatically added. Those kinds of kind of like hierarchy stuff. Also, I don't know if you know, but on Tagger, not on the main site yet, but if you go to the if tagger.scryfall.com, you can also search by picture color. So for example, you can like type in a color code and it will try to kind of like find every image where the primary, the color.
What's the I'm on it right now. What's the syntax for that? Like I do
Trying to remember.
art color or
So if you type like pound sign and then like CC and then four zeros, that's a color. And then you can click search hex color.
oh search hex color.
So it'll find like all of the art where that is the dominant color.
Wow. Yeah, that's red. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
That's
There are
amazing.
people There are people that use this to make extremely themed commander decks. So, for example, somebody has a deck where every picture has a book in it. So
I
like you
love
can
that.
go you can
That's
go
my
all
kind of
kinds
stuff.
of yeah you can go all kinds of crazy with that.
Wow. Wow. That's neat. I like that a lot. That's so cool. So when, because you mentioned the other folks, when did it sort of reach a level where you're like, I need to bring other people onto this?
I would say around 2015, 2016 ish, it got harder for me to just keep up with the spoilers myself. Um, a lot
I
of
know that
Scryfall
feeling.
is, yeah, a lot of Scryfall is unfortunately just us doing data entry, handling like new cards and like new situations. We have a way to like store and search for like almost everything, like from joke cards. Like you can search for like 1/2 mana, all the way to like like battles, double faced cards, tokens. So like all of that kind of stuff has to be represented and like entered and tagged appropriately. And we've gotten more kind of automated tools to do that as we've gone on, but a lot of it is still requires like a human to supervise it or to enter, especially like spoilers.
Mm.
The way Wizards of the Coast does spoilers is very kind of old school toy company. Like they're just sending like pictures to people, and like a lot of times for weeks and weeks, that's all the news you'll have about like a new card that everybody thinks is competitive. So a human has to transcribe that onto websites. You can do some image recognition stuff, but they don't provide like the text right away with
Hmm.
spoilers. I wish they would.
Right. And so you end
Also,
up in the situation where you're putting up, for example, sometimes foreign language cards
yes,
with what you presume the names will be based on translation, but you never really know exactly until
hmm
the English card is released.
yeah, and we've started doing joke cards or
Hmm.
joke names for those because it's just too hard to keep revising your translation. Also, sometimes the translations are just not what the final card is.
Yeah.
Like I think the example we give on the website is the card from Ravnica, like circuitous route.
Hmm.
But like in German, they just wrote like winding path, and there would be no way for us to know that it's actually a circuitous route when it comes out in English.
Right. Also, winding path in English is, I think, a different card.
Yeah, so it's we just stopped trying to guess. Like we can pretty much do the Oracle text, because that's very standardized. Like there's only a few ways to write, like whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, surveil or whatever.
Yeah.
But I really wish that Wizards of the Coast would always show both, just for community confusion purposes. Like if you give a localized card, it's important to give localized, like or creators the images for
Hmm.
their language. But I would really like it if they would just show both, because it would reduce a lot of I guess just kind of confusion. Sometimes it's unclear what the card specifically does,
Right.
because the magic rules still only care about the English Oracle
I
text.
was going to say the true version of the wording is whatever the
Yes.
English version is. So
Yeah, the
that
game
makes sense
doesn't.
that you would want them to also tell you that at the same time.
Yeah, I just think like for tournaments, legality, databases, storefronts. So it's really annoying when you get like a localized card, you don't know what the name is, but you got to put it on your store. And then later on you have to change the name to the real one. So now you've like hurt your like search engine performance,
Oh
because
gosh.
like people are searching for both products. It's that kind of, I really wish Wizards would just like include both every time.
What what has been like thinking back through the years with changes and stuff they've made, what has been the biggest like, oh, this is a we have to change how we do stuff, that like Wizards, I'm thinking specifically like Wizards is like, we've decided that we're going to do this now, and
Mm-hmm.
then the not that they are obliged to consider the ramifications to Scryfall, but
Right.
what has been the biggest thing that they've been like, we're doing this now, and you're going, oh no.
So it's probably like as far as the thing that's caused the most, I guess two things that have caused the most issues for us is one is just like double faced cards, reversible promos.
Mm,
You have to let people search both sides. Now you have two images for the card. Websites don't really lend themselves well to showing. You have to figure out how to show both sides or let people flip the card over. Every website has like a slightly different way to do it rather than just displaying the card. Reversible cards are another thing. Like uh, we are worried that at some point they're going to make a promo where each side is a different card um,
oh,
instead of it
like
being
different pre-existing cards.
yeah. So like imagine I could imagine like a very expensive promo where like one side is ponder and one side is preordained and you
Right.
just choose which one is in your deck by putting it in a sleeve and it's not actually a transforming card but I it's that kind of thing where like we're really
Yeah.
worried that they're going to do that eventually because I think some other card games have
That, yeah,
where
I can see how that
they
would
just
be a
put two
problem.
popular cards on both sides of a promo so it's that kind of thing the other thing that just kind of has always been a problem and Wizards is and is not responsible for this, and it's just really old sets and historic information about Magic. It's very hard to keep track all of it. A lot of times when Magic was coming out back in the 90s, they didn't know it was going to be this like huge product, this huge success. So they just didn't keep records of stuff. It's
Mm.
things like Summer Magic and like the foreign white border, foreign black border sets. Like this this deck, Kamigawa deck, was only released in Italy for some reason or in Italian.
The first
It's
time I
the
saw a pack of Renaissance, I was baffled.
yeah. So and a lot of that information is just kind of carried around in community members' heads
Mm.
right now, and like Wizards didn't really document all of that. For example, we still don't have like official collector numbers for like limited edition alpha. We can put the cards in order that we think they will be because like we know how Wizards Coast sorts cards, but it's not official. Like those collector numbers on Scryfall, we made those up because everything needs a number to
Right.
kind of be identifiable in systems, but they've never actually put out like here's a PDF where they're all numbered. Like this is the internal number we use, that kind of thing. Also,
Because there's
some of it just gets forgotten because the way sort of toy companies operate is they make a product 2 years in advance, they advertise it, they talk about it, there's events for it, and then they just sort of like wash their hands of it after it's been released and move on to making the next product.
right.
There's not like nobody is kind of the like the appointed like historian of the game at the company.
And I mean, speaking of sort of like a knowledge base, I is this sort of is this desire to retain, the ancient texts, as it were, a part of why Scryfall took on the MTG wiki?
Yes. Um, part of the motivation is we want to be good stewards of the history of the game, like all aspects of it. But another part was kind of escaping fandom.com.
The fandom wikis are miserable.
Yeah, like pretty much every game has a fandom wiki.
Hmm.
It's better than nothing, but they just like fandom just they load like the page has like 3 video ads, all kinds of stuff. Like they really are squeezing those wikis for like advertising revenue as much as possible, and
And
it's
they don't
just
all
really
load at the same time. And you load a page, and then you go to click on a link, and then the link jumps because the ad has
because
loaded.
like
And
the video popped up. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like they are kind of miserable to browse, and for a lot of games, it's the only source.
we
And we've
were
been talking with
literally like hooting and hollering with excitement at the Loading Ready Run Moonbase when we heard that Scryfall was taking this over from fandom. We were like,
Mhm.
holy crap, did you hear about this? And then like, yeah, like
Yeah.
very excited.
Yeah, and so for people who don't know, it's mtg.wiki. That's the address.
Great.
We would also really like everybody's help with like linking to the wiki. If you have a topic that you want to like send people to more information about, it's probably on the wiki. We're trying to sort of like boost the wiki's like visibility right now.
I mean, I don't want to tell you how to do your job. I would put a
Mhm.
link to it prominently on the Scryfall homepage.
Well, we did for I think I don't know 4 or 6 months, but it's
Yeah.
also in our footer. We're trying to link to it with all the documentation we can. One thing we want to work on is we want to make it so that like when you're looking at a legendary creature, that there's a link to the wiki article about them.
Oh, what a great idea.
Things like that. So we're trying to find ways to like integrate the wiki now that we control it.
That's great.
The wiki admin staff has also been great. Like they moved, I think pretty much all the admins jumped from fandom to the new wiki,
Amazing.
and they're their own, they're their own set of people that are really they really want to make sure it's like the best wiki. They have kind of Wikipedia like policies about like neutrality and language and how the articles are structured. So they're doing a great job with all that too.
That's so great. I know that one of the first things that I can remember of being like a being uh, a like a what I thought was like, oh, what a cool feature. This must have been annoying. Was when they printed the like in Magic versions of the Street Fighter and Stranger Things secret
Yeah,
layers.
yeah, universes
Uh,
within.
yeah, because they're a totally different card. But if you go to the Scryfall page, there is a link at the side to show you the other version,
Mhm.
which I really appreciate.
And they're doing that also with through the Omen paths for the Spider-Man set.
I saw that, yeah.
That
Which
has been a little bit more frustrating
I was going
because
to ask you about
um,
this.
so when you actually have a database to store products, you have to make assumptions about some of the stuff. And I think one thing that we assumed was always going to be true, but is not, is that a card is only going to have one name, and all of the other names are like flavor or like the secondary name or like the fake skin for the card
Hmm.
name. But for through the Omen paths, it's not really the case. Like on the digital apps, it's this card, and on paper, it's this card, and they're like equivalent. If that makes sense, like one is not like a reskin of the other.
Yeah, like they are two completely separate magic cards, but
Yeah,
one is only available in paper and one is only available digitally.
yeah, and we've connected them together, but we're still having problems with like neither of these is the true name of the card.
Oh,
So we kind of need a system where now we call them oracle cards. So on our site, every copy of pacifism is the same oracle card. Like that's like it's oracle text, it's casting cost, all that stuff.
right.
And then we keep track of all of the individual prints separately. So right now with like through the Omen Paths, we have them. They're the same Oracle card. Like if you go to an Omen Path card, you can link to the Spider-Man version. But it's not a situation where like one name is more correct than the other. So that's something we have to sort of go in and like tear up and redo so that when you search for either name or put either name in a deck list, that it's accurate.
Right.
Also, so like if you export your deck list for Arena, you get the Omen Path version, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's been a
Although
little
they
bit
did
of a
mercifully
slog to kind of go through that.
they did apparently figure it out on Arena so that if you paste in a deck list with
Mhm.
Spider-Man cards, it will automatically transpose them to the relevant Omen Path version, which is nice of them to do.
Yeah, I would. I really don't know. I know there's been some kind of hemming and hawing in the community about how the Spider-Man set has been handled. I really don't know what sort of happened with that. Like it didn't. Excuse me. It seems like they couldn't get the license to have it digitally.
Hmm.
I guess because Spider-Man is like I think it is still the most popular Marvel hero by a long shot,
Yeah.
especially internationally. I think maybe they like for other properties they might not have agreed to do a Universe Beyond set if they could be on all platforms or couldn't be on all platforms. But I think maybe for Spider-Man they just I don't know, they gave up trying to get the digital license because they wanted Spider-Man so bad. I
I
I
mean,
wish it
I
was
think
on
that
all platforms. I'm not sure. I would love to hear internal discussions about why it wasn't.
yeah, we don't know why. We people are presuming that it has to do with Marvel Snap or just
Yeah.
the digital licensing. Because what we do know is that the Spider-Man set was originally going to be smaller, and it was going to be something akin to Marks and Machines Aftermath or the Assassin's Creed release, where it was just a smaller thing with smaller boosters, and that was going to be it. And it wasn't going to be on Arena because it didn't need to be on Arena. And
Hmm.
then they decided that all UB sets would be standard, and B, that the tiny aftermath thing is no one likes it, and
Yeah.
so then they were like, okay, well then this needs to be a bigger set, and it needs to be standard, and if it's standard, then it's going to be on Arena. Oh, well, we didn't get the digital rights to it because it was never going to be on Arena. Now we got to go get that, and then they couldn't, and then
Hmm.
they just couldn't come
Yeah.
to an agreement, I guess, and so now we have
Yeah.
the Omen paths.
The only, I mean, I don't have any internal visibility. The only thing I can think of is that Spider-Man is so popular that they just acquiesced to only having it on paper instead of like saying we're not going to do Universes Beyond because you're
Hmm.
being unreasonable.
Yeah, I mean,
Also,
I don't have
I
internal
know
visibility
from
on that either. I'm going off of the
yeah,
stuff they have said publicly and inference
yeah,
and what people are guessing.
yeah. And I don't know. I think it's unfortunately kind of like C-suite thinking where like they have Marvel Snap, they are or competitor,
Mm.
even though I don't really see them as competitors
Final
nowadays.
Fantasy has a whole card game.
Yeah. So I mean, I think people have time for multiple card games. Also, I think people definitely have time for multiple like mobile apps and
Hmm.
games. Like just because you play Marvel Snap doesn't mean you don't also enjoy Magic or Lorcana or whatever.
Yeah,
You also don't. I mean, you can't really play Marvel Snap, at tournaments, with like with your friends all around a table, on Zoom. Like I don't know. I don't feel like it's that big of a deal, but
I
it
know
is
that
what it is.
one of the issues with the Omen paths in particular for you was one of the first cards that they spoiled was the Terminus Stone, which is also like technically speaking mechanically different from the Soul Stone because it has a different subtype.
Yeah, so that's something they haven't done before, and that's also causing us problems where like it's not just that it has a flavor name or different artist, it or different artwork, excuse me. It's that it has its own different type, which
Yeah,
is because I guess the type is also intellectual property
I guess. Even
from
though,
Marvel.
yeah, we've talked about this on the podcast before, but because Rosewater said that Infinity and Stone were two separate artifact subtypes, but I guess Marvel was like, no, you can't put the words Infinity Stone together on a card like
Mm-hmm.
that. So they came up with a different thing, and so unlike all the other, like I mentioned, like the Street Fighter ones, is
Mm-hmm.
that the name and the art are different, but mechanically they're identical. This is the name and the art are different, but they're also technically speaking. I mean,
Yeah,
currently nothing cares about what a terminus is or what an infinity artifact does, but that could hypothetically happen, and now these cards are different.
yeah. I mean, they probably could have dodged that with like some clever renaming, but they probably I don't know. Marvel may have really wanted it to say Infinity Stone. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's just overall, yeah. Then that's the first time they've done something like that where the actual type is changed on the universes within version.
Is that
Also, I wanted to brag slightly. I don't have any direct evidence for this, but so they called it Universes Beyond for all of the external IP, and then when
mhm.
they released the like reflavored versions of like Stranger Things and Street Fighter, we called it Universes Beyond on our website because we didn't have, or sorry, Universes Within on our website because we didn't have a name for it. at all. And I think Wizards adopted that from us because
Awesome.
we were really proud of like that set name, and then I think they started using that internally, or maybe they thought they said it at one point and we put it on our site.
That I could believe that they're like, oh, Scryfall calls it this. We must have said that. Well, okay, that must be our term for it.
Yeah,
I could
so
absolutely believe that.
I don't have any pure evidence for it, but I think we coined that name.
Good job. What apart from the Omen Paths and the Terminus and all that stuff, what challenges do you face with Magic? Is it just the sheer pace of it all, or what how's it going to do what you do now?
I think the biggest thing right now is just the pace of stuff, especially if we have to if they come up with something brand new, we have to retool our site to handle it. Like reversible cards were like the last big one. Also stickers a little bit.
Mm.
Um, cards that had like all the blanks in the names, those are difficult to search for. That kind of stuff. There's a lot of things Magic does that works good, like when you can see it on paper, but like when you can see it on the cardboard. But like when you're trying to type it into a database, you have to figure out like, how do I represent the fact that this card has a blank?
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah, I would say right now, I guess the biggest thing is mostly just like the pace of card releases. Uh, Previously, it was kind of like getting card imagery was the big thing, because Wizards would always release really tiny PNGs, and we
So
would have
glad
to.
they've gotten
Yeah,
better about
they've
this.
started they've kind of alleviated the problem because they've started releasing actual big images, but for everything, I don't remember when they started doing that. I think it was around the Ikora set, maybe,
Mm.
but before that, literally every card on Scryfall, somebody put it on a scanner bed and scanned it. Like we did, or a card shop did, or somebody who owned it looked at our guide and bought the scanner we recommended and scanned it for us. But all of those old card images, those are all from scanner flatbeds.
Wild. That's amazing.
Especially also like all the promos and stuff, because Wizards just doesn't have promos on Gatherer, so we're kind of weirdly the authoritative source on what a promo card looks like.
Oh, you're undeniably the authoritative
Yeah.
source now. Yeah.
Um,
Which is why. So here's my feature request, and I mentioned this
mhm.
before, and as you mentioned, Logan explained why it couldn't happen, and I admit I did not understand
Okay.
because I assumed that
Shoot.
this. I'll get to it in a second. I assumed the limitation would be just the actual like um, uh, work effort of annotating this, but apparently there's some other reason it doesn't work, which is the flavor text of arena only cards. So like alchemy cards
Mhm.
have flavor text if you right
They do,
click on them,
yes.
but those are not on Scryfall because they're
Mhm.
not on the card in a way that I don't understand.
So, um, it's two things. So the right now it's just not on the card picture, which makes it harder for us to automate. We have to
Mm-hmm.
go grab it from Arena or have somebody copy the text out. It's something we could do. One of the other things that Arena is kind of hiding from you is the fact that, so on Arena you have, like, say you have a copy of Doomblade.
Right.
On Arena you just have the Doomblade card, and whichever language your computer is in, that's what it's just what's displayed.
Oh
So
yeah. Okay.
Wizards of the Coast could change that localized text at any time to like improve it, or like fix a typo. But in real life, the localized cards are printed physical objects with their own flaws. Like if there's a typo, it's
Right.
permanent, and we enter all that stuff into the system. So does that make sense? Where like
Yeah.
the text, the flavor text you're seeing in Arena is not really like they might have a Korean translation, but that was never kind of like physically released. That's just something Arena is showing you alongside of the card to like make you happy.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's
putting
not
it,
it's not written in stone in a way that you can enshrine, I suppose.
that's correct. Yeah. So like Wizard of the Coast could change those or delete them at any time. They're not like permanent parts of the card. It's kind of like part of Arena's user interface.
Hmm.
Like you could also
Right.
imagine where, let's say they're doing some sort of holiday event or something, and like when you open a kind of like Christmas themed card, there's like a special Christmas frame to like show that you got it. But like after the event ends, they remove that like interface effect, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we could
So on
maybe
Arena,
try to put
technically, it's
the,
part of the interface and not the card.
yeah. So it's just been a I would also just say frankly it's just sort of a lower priority
Oh yeah,
to
no,
like to have everything
that
like just to have everything picture perfect with Arena too.
yeah that
So
I completely understand that. To be clear, the actual effort of doing this, I totally get it. But I was like, but I know there's some other reason that it's not just that it would be annoying to transcribe. So thank you for explaining that.
yeah.
I still think, and I've talked about this before, I still think the silliest thing, and this must have been just like whoever was responsible for these cards, this was like a personal thing that they wanted to do, is that you remember when they brought Battle for Baldur's Gate to Arena and a bunch of stuff was different?
Yeah, the HB1 set, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the new mechanics was Specialize, where the card has like 5 different card backs.
Oh, I hate Specialized.
So do I.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I assume, actually, yeah, because I realize now you would have had to figure out some way of doing that on Scryfall.
So we have all the specialized versions. I think by default it only pulls up the like base card, but you can look at the other specialized versions. We don't have an interface where the card like flips over 5 times or anything to become the specialized version. We handled that, but I don't actually want to say anything incorrect. We do have them.
Yeah.
Arena's also been challenging in that way that there's things they can do on Arena that can't do in physical cards, like the spell books.
Right.
And they have, it's this weird thing where, so you have a card, has a spell book. It can make like one of the spell books, you can make the Moxen, but you can't actually put the Moxen on Arena in your collection. But there's a picture of it for Arena. So like, do we include that?
Right, because of the Oracle.
Yeah. So it's like there's a lot of kind of like digital sort of like ephemera that they can do on Arena that you can't do physically. That's like the specialized cards, how they just have 5 different versions.
And so where I was going with that originally is that I was blown away to discover that the back faces of the specialized cards have unique flavor text.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And yeah, the only, because you can't, there's no way with the way that the Arena UI works to look at them in your collection, because you would look at the card, you right click on it, and then it just brings up the thing and all the specialize. So you can't right click on any individual face. The only way to see the flavor text is to resolve the card in a game, specialize it, and then right click.
So I guess it's a really big Easter egg.
Yeah.
I suppose. I wonder if any of the spellbook cards have flavor text you only see after you've like called it out of the spellbook.
Surely not, because some of them are like there wouldn't be a way to click on the spell. Like if it's a permanent, maybe. Oh no, because you could click on it if it's in the stack. If you hold full control.
There's a possibility.
I bet they don't. I would bet that they don't, but then I would have never guessed that these specialized ones would. Again, I think that this was someone on the team must have been like, I'm going to do this because
you're playing a dangerous game right now, because as soon as you post this video, somebody is going to find the flavor text on a spell book or say that they've already found it.
I hope they do. It's possible that when they were doing the specialized cards, they were like, well, obviously these need flavor text, and they just didn't realize how lost to the arena UI they would be, and then haven't bothered since. But it's
Yeah.
possible. I'd love to find out.
And there's been this kind of, I guess, sort of contention. So when you have a database of Magic or any game, really, you have to sort of draw boundaries around it about like what are we actually going to keep in our archive. So like right now, Scryfall's sort of scope is cards that you can collect. Like you can have it and put it in your collection, or it's part of your like it's part of your like collection on Arena.
Right.
So an example of something that would be excluded from that is like a really old card from like, from Visions or something that makes a weird token. You can only see this token if you play Magic Online.
Right.
And like you can never own this token physically. Like that's not something we wouldn't include.
Okay.
Because it's just sort of like a temporary gameplay object that the computer game created for you.
Because I do love that you connect the cards that make tokens to the tokens that they would create.
But we only do that if there's actually been a real physical token printed.
Right. Okay. What about like the Heroes of the Realm cards? Because technically those aren't something that the public should be able to get access to.
We include them. It's easy to include them. They're really cool and amusing.
They are.
But technically one person has it in their collection, I guess, if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And I would be shocked to if people at Wizards don't also use Scryfall about as much as the rest of us do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we sort of include it because it's fun, and also we sort of celebrate this person too who received the award.
Yeah.
The most recent one though, Ormakar, I really want that as a real card.
I don't,
because it's not actually a joke. I don't think like the whole card, nothing on it is like a unserious or like a joke mechanic.
Yeah.
And I really want Ormakar. Yeah, I really want Ormakar as a real card.
It's 1 blue-black for a legendary elf wraith with the stats power and toughness of 1/1, but it's presented 0/0/1/0/0/1.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Vigilance, Menace, and Lifelink, and Precious, which is you can have 2 commanders if the other one is a legendary non-creature artifact. And as long as you control your Precious, Ormakar gets +X, where X is the mana value of your Precious. That all tracks. That all makes sense to me rules-wise. I don't get the joke of why the power and toughness is presented with extra zeros, but mechanically the card works. That seems sweet.
Yeah, I'm not. Maybe somebody might know why it says 001. They might be making a collector number joke.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of. I'm sure somebody's going to immediately tell us in the comments.
Yeah,
I brought this as a real card.
Yeah, and another just because I'm looking at the page right now, another thing that Scryfall does that I really appreciate is for certain cards having, I assume this is done manually, having like a related search. And so on the page for Ormakar, there's a related search you can click on that just says "My Precious ... and it will automatically search. If you click it, it'll search for a legendary artifact that is not a creature, and it will show you all the possible options. Your Precious could be Bolus's Citadel, for example.
Yeah. So yeah, we're really proud of that. And you're right, it is manual. We do it for a lot of just if the card is important or legendary, like we try to add it to anywhere it's relevant, especially for things like if you play with companions, we have a search for like everything that could be legal in your companionized deck. Also, some searches are just like a search for the specific thing for that card. It would be really hard to type out all the time, so we include it.
Right.
Things like trying to remember a really complicated one. I think it's like the Gigantha, the Wellspring, that companion. We have a really complex search shown so that you can find cards that you can cast from the mana that she creates.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So there's two different searches on Gigantha. One is
Mm-hmm.
cards without two of the same mana symbol, and then yeah, cards you can cast only, or cards you can cast using only the mana from Gigantha. And the text
Mm-hmm.
string is like MV greater than 0, Z1 greater than 0, minus mana colon 1, minus mana
Yeah.
colon two different slashes, SMR. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that I wouldn't be able to do off the top of my head. And then you click on that and it just gives you
Mm-hmm.
the list that you would need. And then I like that it also like explains at the top of the search page, it explains sort of like what all that text means.
Mm-hmm.
Like it says right now, it's showing me cards 1 through 60 of 3,700 cards where the mana value is greater than 0 and the number of identity colors is greater than 0 and the mana cost is not greater than 1 and
Mm-hmm.
the mana cost is not, it actually like explains what you've just typed in. I love that. That's great.
Yeah, we're really proud of that. It also helps make sure you didn't make a mistake. A common one is like you are trying to type in like a search term, but you put like too many spaces, so it thinks you're searching for a name instead of like using a search term. So that it helps with that too. But also, yeah, we're really proud of like kind of the English transcription, sort of explaining what it's doing. Helps people kind of like learn the syntax. We call those people basically like experts. So there's there's regular like clicking around. Then you can use the advanced search form if you want to have it. The advanced search form can't really include everything that we have on the site, but we try to include like the most common stuff. But then if you're like expert mode, you can just type all the search terms right into the search bar. And there's people that are so good and so like quick with it now. You've probably got somebody at Loading Ray Runs, probably like the Scryfall syntax expert, or like can whip up the like exact thing you need really fast.
I think James and myself have gotten pretty good at it from recording the Crack a Pack. I predict Paul is probably our most skilled at that because he's typically the one who has to look cards up when we go. Sorry, I put the wrong one on the deck list, Paul. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know, Paul. Do you have, because he's listening, do you have that experience?
Yes, that definitely does come up. And I very much, as somebody who is not great at spelling, I very much appreciate the spelling suggestions that that Scryfall gives.
Yeah, we have it's not just a regular spelling system either. Like we have loaded all of the magic words into basically the dictionary for it. So it will like correct like, legendary creature names and things like that too.
Oh, that's so good.
What was the right Revelark?
Oh, right.
Was one that I could not find. And then I was like, okay, I'll just do a Google search and it'll do it. But everybody on Google, like, because Google just, everybody, like tons of other people had also spelt it wrong. So I was like, I don't know how to spell this word.
I just tried searching for it and I spelled it wrong, but it was like, do you mean this? And I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. REVEILLARK for Revelark.
Anyway.
What a weird one. Well, Corey, what are you hoping for, I guess, in the future of I guess not just Scryfall, but Magic in general, but in particular Scryfall.
What are we hoping? Right now, we're still kind of getting the wiki off the ground. I would really love it if people basically helped us out with like linking to the wiki. If you feel like you want to contribute, all you have to do is go on the wiki and request an account. We have a slight like kind of spam thing where basically you need to write like a one sentence about like who you are to like prevent spam bots from just creating wiki accounts. But we'd love like additional contributors to that. As far as we just hope that we can be able to keep up with like the pace of Magic. It's really just sort of, we've got it handled as far as we know, like right now. but just like anybody's support for us is just makes it so that Scryfall can always be like a going concern, that we don't have to like split our time. Like I don't like right now, I'm very fortunate that I do not have to like also work a part-time development job somewhere else. So I get like my full attention is on Scryfall. If like, the site is down, like I'm the first person they call to bring stuff back up. So I mean, it's kind of it's kind of usual, but just I kind of hope people join our Patreon, kind of become Scryfall members, join our Discord, just to if you're buying a deck, buying cards, buy it through our site links, just to like kind of help make sure that Scryfall is around and stays like free for everybody, and is like a free resource for like everybody from creators all the way down to like people just making a casual deck, at their table.
Because Scryfall, you mentioned it earlier, but basically survives on like the public support from the Patreon and the affiliate links. Like that's it, right? Like,
Yeah, so
you don't run banner ads, thank goodness,
And that's something we really don't want to have to do. Like,
yeah.
I really do not like banner ads, especially ones that move. I don't like tracking users for monetary reasons, that kind of thing. So I don't want to have to do any of that. And so far, everybody's generous support has been able to keep the site like, fast, ad free, being able to keep all like our attention on it more often. All that kind of stuff. So I think that's still kind of the biggest thing. Yeah.
Great. I mean, we use it, like I said, every day. So yeah, I'm glad it's here, and I hope it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Corey, we're typically when we have guests on Tap Tap Concede, I wrap up by saying, where can folks find you online? I think, correct me if I'm wrong, fairly smartly, you're not that online in terms of having like a big social media presence or anything.
No, not right now. I personally, I find it to be too much of a mental drain.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it sucks, dude.
I have a Twitter. It's currently private. Twitter is being in the process of being flushed down the toilet by its owner. I'm mostly active on our Discord, but you have to be a supporter in order to talk to our team. I would just say, please use Scryfall as much as you want. Please like support us on Patreon or by buying cards through affiliate links. That's like, that's the best, place to find me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Corey, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been really, really fascinating and wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great.
I just realized actually there's one more thing that we should do before we let you go, because it's a recurring bit on the show and people really like it. We should do just one round of Scryfall roulette.
Okay.
Paul, can you hit a random card and show us what? I hope it's a basic. Come on. Basic land. Let's see what we got.
So this is going to be a random card, and we're just going to...
From the random card button on Scryfall.
And you're going to talk about what this card means to you.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Got ourselves a real old one.
Bottle
Bottle
of Suleiman. This is... Oh, God, this is when it's an old artifact with the text is so small. It is a 4-mana artifact. And for 1 mana, flip a coin with opponent... I'm just going to read it as it's written on the card.
Okay.
Flip a coin with opponent calling heads or tails while coin is in the air. If the flip ends up in opponent's favor, Bottle of Suleiman deals 5 damage to you. Otherwise, a 5/5 flying Djinn immediately comes into play on your side. Use a counter to represent Djinn. Djinn is treated exactly like a normal artifact creature, except if it leaves play, it is removed from the game entirely. No matter how the flip turns out, Bottle of Suleiman is discarded after use.
It may not surprise you.
My favorite part is how they have to explain how to flip a coin to you on the card.
Yeah.
The Oracle text in the more recent version is a lot shorter.
Oh yeah, that's from like Magic Online or something. Yeah, it's
Do you want
just
me to read that one?
sure, go for it.
It's just pay 1 and then sacrifice this artifact, flip a coin. If you win the flip, create a 5/5 colorless Djinn artifact creature token with flying. If you lose the flip, this artifact deals 5 damage to you.
Sweet. I was vaguely aware that this card existed, but really, this is the first that I'm really reading it. It seems not great.
I mean, I guess if you win the flip, it's very ahead of the curve, but
Yeah, but if you lose, you just paid 5 mana to deal 5 damage to yourself. You lava axed yourself. Yeah. Well, okay. There we go. Thank you for letting me lava axe you. A series of questions. Hey. This has been really excellent, Corey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me so much. Happy to be back anytime.
So everyone, please check out Scryfall. Use Scryfall. Use the loading. Sorry, that's me. I'm about to get to the loading ready run stuff. Use the wiki. Go to the Magic wiki. It's great. It's a wonderful resource, and you really should use it.
Also,
and,
totally ad free too, like Scryfall.
It's so clean. I'm looking at it right now. It's such a pleasure to use because it's ad free. I love it. For us, however, everything that we do is brought to you by various people such as Card Kingdom. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. You can also buy your cards there. But for the purposes of today's episode, buy them through an affiliate link on Scryfall. But we really do appreciate we keep working with Card Kingdom because we think they're great. If you want to get some of the Dragon Shield's cool new sleeves, use the code LRRMTG5 to get yourself a 5% discount. And of course, everything that we do here is brought to you by you as well on our Patreon, Loading Ready Run, or by becoming a member on this YouTube channel. So we really appreciate all of that. And by we, I mean us at Loading Ready Run, but also Corey. We all appreciate your direct support for keeping everything ticking along in this amazing community. So thanks everybody for listening and for watching, and thanks again, Corey, and we will talk to you all next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.